My name is Allison Snyder, and my presentation is on coaching and disciplining staff. According to Sullivan 2018, one of the most important yet challenging roles of a manager is being in touch with employee performance, providing timely and constructive feedback, and coaching for success. In this presentation, I will discuss feedback, coaching, change in behavior and confronting behavior, discipline, and termination. According to Cox 2016, our effectiveness in fostering teamwork, staff engagement, and even workplace accountability is enhanced or diminished by our feedback skills. First and foremost, feedback should be positive and constructive. In order to make improvements, managers need to make sure that feedback will help improve staff performance, which will ultimately lead to improved patient care. The manager can and will provide feedback to employees. However, comprehensive feedback is also very important. This includes feedback not only from the manager, but from other peers such as nurses, physicians, patient care assistants, etc. If a manager lacks confidence when providing feedback, or staff members feel as though the manager is never present on the unit, then feedback will not be as effective. This can lead to managers avoiding, neglecting, or poorly executing feedback techniques. According to Young, 2014, part of the process of ensuring safety and quality is to monitor clinical performance and to provide timely and honest feedback. You also want to ask permission prior to giving feedback and take time to plan the encounter in order to make it beneficial to the staff member. Here are the 5 keys to providing successful feedback. The first key is timely and ongoing. Make sure to communicate feedback as close to the event that occurred as possible, and also make sure to always follow up. Goal referenced. The manager should make sure to provide a behavior goal and provide the staff member with resources and time to reach that goal in order to help with performance improvement. Constructive and positive. As discussed previously, feedback should be constructive and positive in nature. Utilize praise to acknowledge a job well done. According to Sullivan 2018, positive feedback is a powerful reinforcer. Tangible and transparent. Information should be tangible and transparent to the employee. Make sure to deliver the information clearly and concisely in order to avoid confusion and misperceptions. And lastly, the encounter should be respectful and encourage reflection. Make sure when providing feedback to do so in a private location and not in front of other staff members. Respect the privacy of the employee. Allow the staff member to reflect on the situation and describe what happened. Make sure to listen and avoid jumping to conclusions during this time. Coaching is a collaborative relationship between a coach and a willing individual that supports continuing personal, professional, and career development through the acquisition of appropriate skills, actions, and abilities that are crucial to professional practice. Coaching also helps to promote self-discovery and allows wisdom to be expressed and increases clinical effectiveness. Employees are able to change themselves effectively or within their organization through coaching. There are 3 phases of coaching. The first phase is the pre-coaching stage. This stage can also be referred to as the assessment stage, as a manager is assessing the needs of the staff member and building a professional working relationship with that person. The second stage is the active coaching stage, where the manager makes the purpose and the goals of the coaching clear, and a plan is developed between both the manager and the staff member. The last stage is known as the follow-up stage. This final step is where coaching feedback is provided and the mutually developed plan is put into action. Being ready, willing, and able are also three very important aspects that will determine whether or not a coaching will be effective. The learner must be psychologically ready and able to accept the coaching and act on it. If the staff member is not ready, the coaching will not serve a purpose. The learner must also be willing and open to accepting change. And lastly, the learner needs to be able and capable to make the change. If a behavior remains unchanged after feedback is provided, the manager needs to escalate things to the next level and confront the staff member about the behavior. This establishes accountability with staff and helps to hold staff and the manager accountable. Listed below are the steps in confrontation. The first thing that the manager should do is to prepare prior to the meeting occurring. In preparation, the manager should consider if the employee is aware of the behavior and how the employee will react to the confrontation. The next step is to describe the behaviors to the employee utilizing objective measures, which are behaviors that are observed. Make the employee aware of consequences that may occur if the negative behavior continues. Next, make sure to provide empathetic listening and give the employee a chance for their voice to be heard and understand why the behavior occurred. After that, make sure to discuss with the employee why the behavior cannot occur and allow them to offer suggestions to change the behavior or offer suggestions yourself as the manager if the employee is unable to offer some of their own. And lastly, make sure to make a note in the employee's file about the encounter and allow the employee to have time to reflect on the confrontation and make sure that you and your employee are aware of the expected changes. Discipline is not punishment, but it is a consequence of employee behavior. Discipline should be done consistently in order to be effective. It is not based off of whether the employee is liked or not by the manager, but rather the behavior that is being exhibited. Progressive discipline occurs when an employee repeatedly violates a certain behavior and has multiple severe warnings in response to that behavior and no change has occurred. This should not come as a surprise to the employee, as with each disciplinary action, the manager should be having conversations with this individual. There are two different types of warnings that can be given: verbal and written. A verbal warning is given first for unacceptable behaviors. If the behavior continues to occur, the employee will receive a written warning and the plan of action will again be discussed. If the behavior continues after a verbal and written warning, steps toward suspension and termination may ultimately occur. As the manager moves through the steps with the employee, documentation is extremely important. First and foremost, for termination, make sure that there is documentation to support your decision to terminate the employee. Communicate with your supervisor and human resources to make sure that you have their support and that you are following hospital policies and are not violating the employee's right. The manager should review the employee file prior to termination and reflect upon whether or not feedback was provided and coaching was offered. If the manager fears that the employee will challenge the termination process, then the manager should prepare ahead of time. Make sure to have the facts and objective data in order to present those to the employee. Termination can be a mortifying experience for the employee, so the manager should show compassion but do so in a firm manner. After the conversation is had, the manager should collect any hospital belongings the employee may have, such as their ID badge, and terminate their access to email and hospital computers. The manager can assist the employee in collecting their belongings and then escort them from the building. Lastly, the most important thing to do after the encounter is over is to document what happened and how the employee reacted in the employee's file. Documentation is always key. Here are some excellent articles that can be found on the American Nurse Today website that refer to how to help coach staff. If you search coaching staff on the website, multiple good articles from their journal pop up. And then here is a video about leadership coaching and discipline.
Coaching through discipline is one of the hardest skills for a leader to develop, and certainly an area of considerable stress. It's not easy telling someone they are missing the mark, especially in our culture, because we hate to fail. Discipline, however, is vital if you want to push your team forward. It's also necessary to gain the respect of your high-performing team members. Don't be afraid to discipline. If done correctly, it's the best thing for the employee, for you, and for your entire team. But if left unresolved, the problem grows exponentially and negatively affects your entire organization. Such sessions, of course, should be conducted privately and in person, with a manager witness when necessary. You should also document every discipline session, whether it's a casual chat or a scheduled meeting. So how do you discipline? Remember these 3 F's: fast, firm, and fair. The first F is fast. When you are holding a discipline session, keep the conversation tightly scripted. Don't allow the discussion to veer into other topics. This is especially important with defensive or strong-willed personalities who will try to get you off track or debate through distraction. Don't confuse a coaching session with a discipline session. Coaching sessions are more collaborative. Discipline sessions are more one way, with you doing the talking. The second F is firm. Be courteous, but firm. State the problem, how it affects the team, and what the need is to fix it for the team member. Don't ask the person for ideas on how to fix the problem. Allowing defensive opinions in these sessions almost always ends badly and puts you in a debate position. Instead, calmly but firmly state the problem, what they need to do, and end the conversation. The third F is fair. Most discipline sessions should be a one-way conversation. But if the problem is complex, there may be times the person may need the opportunity to comment. Be a good listener and appraise the comments. If they are valid, you may need to reconsider your discipline. Thank them for their comments, even let them write down their version if it's a written discipline, and end the meeting. Fast, firm, and fair. One of the biggest mistakes leaders make is disciplining through memo, or worse, an email. You need to speak only to those who are not meeting your expectations, not the entire team. Do this too often, and you will lose leadership credibility, causing morale and productivity to plummet. A competent leader does not fear discipline. It is not always easy, but it is necessary if you want to earn the respect of your team members and higher management. How you choose to meter out discipline, however, will have a huge impact on the performance of your team. Following the formula of fast, firm, and fair gives you a process that consistently helps you hold people accountable.
All right, lastly, some key points to remember. Provide constructive and positive feedback. Initiate coaching to help promote change of a negative behavior. Make sure the employee is ready, willing, and able to learn. Confront the behavior. Discipline through verbal and written warnings. Be compassionate but firm during termination. And always remember to document. And here are my references. Thank you.